Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for joining me. Today I'm going to be teaching you a really exciting type of stitching. It's called the box stitch. It's a little bit fiddly to get your head around exactly how it works. You can't do this without being able to use an awl. I use this one. They sell it on Rocky Mountain. Super nice to work with because you don't punch the hole all the way through, you prick mark. It's a really old, very traditional type of stitching, and this will open a whole new realm of what you can make. So I'm super excited to show you it. So let's dive in. I'll show you how to do it and I'll see you in a minute. So a normal stitch would be straight down with the awl like this. You'd go all the way down. When you're doing a box stitch, you never want to punch all the way through the leather to the point where the punch goes through to the other side. You will get holes on the inside of your piece. When you open your box or whatever it is that you're making, you will see holes here on the inside of the piece. So when you're punching, all you want to do is get the punch to the point where you're just making a mark. So you're not going to hit very hard. You're not going to hit very hard at all. You're only going to be hitting to the point where just beyond the sharp point, so where it becomes an actual rectangle, you make an indentation so that you get the shape of the stitch right, because you won't get it if you just hit the ending, but you don't get any more than that, because if you do, you don't need the channel to be this deep. You're not going to be going in that far with the awl. You don't want to have a hole all the way through because it will damage the look of your piece. So you want to just have it about there. Now I know it's easy to show you on here, and the other factor is when you've done that, this is the awl that I'm using. If I zoom out to the point where it's actually scaled, you're only doing that much. You're not doing much at all. So it's going in only sort of this far, and then it's coming out. So you're not using any of the leather below about this mark here. With a box stitch, you're doing that. So it's a more or less a 45-degree angle. Putting the awl in to join those two up. I just wanted to demonstrate that on here where it's a bit easier to see, because I think that makes it a bit more easily understandable. Alright guys, so as you can see, I've now cut everything out and stitched it into a tube. I'm going to be putting the awl in to the first hole. You can start the first stitch outside, because you're going to be going between the two layers, or well, in this case 2 layers. I've done it this way so that you can see where it's coming out. But it's coming out in the middle of the edge, just there. And you only want to go through until you can just see the tip of the awl at the tip of my finger there. You don't want to go in too far, just to make it easier to pull it back out. Following that needle, just as you would with any other stitch, bring that thread through. Bring it through for the first stitch. Now I'm actually going to start that second stitch and push that through. We're going to do exactly the same thing. So it's gone through roughly in the middle. Aim for that second hole. Chase your awl with that needle. Now, because we've punched the top and the side, you do not want to cast. So you don't want to make a knot in the thread. And that's because you're going to be pulling the threads tight a few at a time. You're not going to be able to pull them all tight at once. You're going to put that all in, about into the middle, and then aiming that same needle, take your left needle, follow the awl through, don't cast, and you can see why, because it allows you to loosen that thread if you need to find the right part in the thickness of in this case the disc, where you're going to place that awl. And then I'll get on with this. So we're going to push that all through to the middle of that disc. You're going to find the hole on the outside and push the all through. Alright, so I'm going to carry on with this and then I'll catch up with you in a minute. It's actually easier to do this with thicker leather, but you're not trying to aim for the middle of quite a thin piece, which makes for quite a difficult box stitch at the end of, actually, when you're doing it on a thin item. If you have the option of bridle leather that's 3 or 4 mil thick, I would take that option. I'm just finishing doing up the final back stitch. With these I actually like to do 3 or 4, and then as soon as that's done we will terminate the threads on the bottom. There we go, pull those through nice and snug. Snip off the tails. This is a polyester, obviously, because it's gold. You wouldn't be able to get a linen or cotton in gold. And there we go. One pot with a box stitched bottom. See you in a second. Okay friends, so I hope you enjoyed that. Here is the finished product. It was really fun to make, really fun to teach you guys how to make it. I hope it was useful. If you have any questions at all, as always, feel free to leave a comment down below, and I'll try my best to get back to you. Like I said in the intro, it's a super useful thing to be able to learn, and that's why I've simplified it with such a small container that I've made here. The stingray was very, very difficult to work with. This stuff is rock hard, as you saw, so that was fun. But you can make it much simpler, you can make it much more complicated, you can do like fancy over stitches, you can do whatever you want. Once you've learned how to do this, you can modify it to whatever you want. So if you want to do stitches all the way around but each one has an over stitch to give it a real pizzazz, if you're not worried about it wearing out, go for it. The world is your pot. But thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what else you'd like to learn, as I love teaching you guys. And I'll see you next time. Take care.